If you were to open up your website, what does it say right up front? The big button. Does it say start for free? Or does it say start 30-day free trial? Or does it say talk to sales or book a demo or something like that? Or does it have all three? Which button should you have? Hint, the wrong answer is to have all three and just letting them decide. You need to pick one. Here's the big question though. How do you actually pick the right sales model for your SaaS business? What you put in that button is not just an arbitrary decision. It has deep impacts on exactly how you're gonna grow your SaaS business. So in this episode, I'm gonna walk you through the 3 principles that you absolutely need to know about how to structure your go-to-market strategy and pick the right sales model for your SaaS business. And that way, you're picking the right button and having the right text that says start free trial or freemium or talk to sales. And I know you're redoing your website. We all are. I get it. I know how it goes. But you really need to figure out how to actually make the right decision for this button because it changes everything when you pick the right one. Intro. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Unstoppable. I'm TK, and on this channel, I help SaaS founders like you grow your SaaS businesses faster with an unstoppable strategy. Now, if you're new to this channel, welcome. I drop an episode every single Sunday with actionable strategies and tactics from the trenches on how to grow your SaaS business faster. So be sure to hit the subscribe button and that bell icon. That way you'll get notified every single time I drop an episode with the TK energy. Now, if you're already part of this community, if you're part of this channel, if you're part of my SaaS go-to-market coaching programs, my people, welcome back. It's really awesome to see you over here. In the 15 plus years that I've been in SaaS, in the 250 plus SaaS founders that I coach, in the SaaS businesses that I operated and still operate today, I've had a freemium offering, I've had a trial offering, and I've had talk to sales offerings. And one of the biggest things I learned is it's not about choosing what I want to do. Let's just say right now, product-led growth is in vogue, and I really want to build a product-led growth business with no sales team. But what I've learned is it really depends on your business. It's not so much what your preferences are. So in this episode, I'm going to walk you through the 3 principles you absolutely need to know that will help you make a decision on what to put on that button in that homepage. And when you make the right decision, you'll be able to accelerate your path to that next stage of growth. So if you're excited to dig in, go ahead and smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. It just loves it when you do that. Let's dig right into it. Before I go into the 3 principles, let's just explain what we have here. It can be very arbitrary to choose between freemium and trial and sales. And over time, I've learned that there's a framework you can follow to actually make that decision. And the framework is very simple. On the left over here is you have the dollar amount that you're charging. So this is, let's just say $0. And let's just say this is 100K plus deals that you do. So these are really large deals that you go after in the enterprise. And on the bottom over here, let's just say it's complexity and the level of business transformation. Right? So, and we'll make this go a little bit longer. Clearly, I was not an artist when I was in school. So the higher the dollar amount and more the business complexity, that's going to be on this zone. The lower the dollar amount, let's just say you have a completely free tool and there's not a lot of business transformation required or complexity required in your tool, you're going to have it on this zone. This zone is where you can give a free tool or a $9 a month tool. It's kind of a simple and easy to get started and you just use it. Whereas over here, this is your massive business transformations, ERP systems, CRM systems that you're really investing in doing multi-year deployments of even. Looking at your SaaS business across these 2 vectors helps you make a more focused decision on which button you should choose. And I know they seem so far apart. You're like, TK, we're just talking about the button on the website. I'm like, I know, but that button represents your go-to-market strategy. That button represents your sales model. That model determines what your customer acquisition cost is going to be and whether people are going to buy from you and how much they're going to spend with you. So it determines a lot of things and it can be very daunting. If you choose the wrong button for the wrong type of product, you can spend months building the wrong product and trying to sell it and not getting anywhere. It's super important to think about it in these 2 terms. So that's how I always map any sort of SaaS business that I'm trying to make a decision around or I'm coaching a founder around. We talk through, okay, let's talk about what the complexity is for the product, for the problem you're solving. How long does it take to deploy the product? How many people are involved in the buying decision? Or do they just get in and use it and it's for a small part of the process, so it's not that big of a deal? That will help us understand how much you charge for it, because the more the complexity, the more you should be charging for it. And that will help us determine what type of model is going to be best for you. Once you start to think about that, then you can start to get into, all right, what are my options? So the first most basic option is free. Free is like, it's something that people just use and you don't charge for it, or maybe they use it and you are actually powering it with ads, like you put some ads inside of it. You get this for a lot of B2C offerings, but you don't get a ton of it for B2B offerings. One of the biggest reasons for that is people are going to be trusting you for a significant part of their business or a semi-important part of their business. They want to pay you. This is something a lot of founders don't realize. A lot of founders think like, oh, I'm cheaper, therefore they're gonna go with me. They're like, no, what they're really thinking about is, this is an important part of my business. Do I wanna trust this company? I wanna be paying this company. I wanna make sure they're around, so I don't wanna just put it on some free tool that might disappear overnight, or they're not really taken care of, or might be buggy. So free is not really the best option, but if you go a smidge higher, you can start to get into freemium. Freemium is one of the big models where you go in and you just say, look, the button says start for free. And start for free tends to work better for tools that are gonna be relatively lower in cost to begin with, and also relatively low in complexity. Let me explain. Let's just say you have a tool, but in order to deploy that tool, you have to make a significant change in the business. You also have to get 3 or 4 department heads involved and get their approval. You have to integrate into multiple systems. You have to make sure the data is gonna be safe. You have to make sure that you're gonna be up and maintain the uptime because it's a business critical process. In those kind of scenarios, people, even if you give it for free or you offer a freemium, they don't want to just start a trial or just use a free product. They really want to talk to you. But on the other hand, if it's pretty easy to use, one person can get into it and just give it a try, and they're like, look, I want to give this a shot. If this works, I'll get started. And then if it really works well, if I like it, I'll bring in other people and we'll expand our usage over time. Then you can start with a freemium offering. This complexity is one of the biggest drivers where if you are in a complexity zone where it's really high, let's just say you get over here, even freemium is not going to do anything because people are going to look at your website. They're going to say, it says start for free, but I don't trust these guys. And this is a really important process. So I can't really start for free, even though it's free. I want to really talk to someone. I have questions because it's such a complex process that you're solving for. So that's the freemium piece. And this tends to also work well where it's relatively low complexity and you're charging stuff like $30 a month or $49 a month, something that's like not a huge amount of money over the period of time that they're going to be using the product. So freemium works really well for that. Now, let's just go a little bit higher. Let's just say the complexity is a little bit higher, like the one I was describing, where multiple people are involved, or it's a business critical process. Or because you're delivering so much value with your product, the dollar amount where it starts at is at $200 a month, or $300 a month, or $1,000 a month, or there isn't even a monthly plan. There is really more of a yearly plan. This is where complexity starts to go up. And what you really don't want is to signal that, hey, anyone can just start using this thing because maybe your costs are high, or maybe you put them into this free version and they're gonna kick around the tires and they're gonna look at it and they're gonna be like, I don't know, like this thing sucks. I don't even know how to use it because the complexity is so high. They don't even know how to use the product. In this kind of scenario, if you're not quite ready to jump into a full-on sales process, this is where a start free trial button is very powerful. This does 2 things. The first thing it does is it gets rid of the people that are freebies. There's a whole bunch of people that just want free stuff. They're never gonna buy from you. And one of the biggest problems that exists with the free tier and freemium tiers is you can get thousands of people that bog down your support costs, that overweigh the servers that you have or the amount of resources that you have running, or even worse, they put bad reviews because they were never serious about paying and they didn't get a great product experience. They didn't take it seriously, and you're just confused about why are all these terrible things happening to us. The reason is you basically threw a party and invited everyone and let everyone come in. The start free trial creates a little bit of a friction in the process. It says, look, our product costs money. So in order to get started, you can put in your credit card and we'll charge you 30 days from now, but we're gonna take it very seriously. That actually creates and attracts a higher value type of customer because they're like, look, I'm gonna put in my credit card. I'm very serious about this. I wanna solve for this. It also allows you to go into the process and say, look, they started a free trial. It's a 30-day trial. We have their credit card and then they're gonna pay maybe $99 a month or $199 a month. So let's do free onboarding or let's do an onboarding call to make sure they're set up for success. So you can give more of a white glove experience instead of a completely freemium experience, which you have to do because they're paying you nothing. So as complexity starts to go higher, and the dollar amount starts to go higher, in this zone, start free trial is a great way to get rid of the tire kickers, as I like to call it, or my friend Paul calls them password sharers, which I always find funny. And you can start to actually attract more quality people, but have some sort of a barrier saying, look, this is a very valuable piece of software. It's an important part of the process. We understand that, but we don't want to get on a sales call with everyone, and you probably don't either. So why don't you start a free trial, put in your credit card, and you'll have 30 days to use it. And then along the way, we'll make sure you're set up for success. So you can do an onboarding as part of that as well. This is a good middle ground if you're in the $3,000 to $5,000 ARR range, meaning if a customer comes on, they're going to spend about $3,000 to $5,000 with you, because at that point, doing a sales process is too expensive for you. Like if you have a full quota-bearing sales rep and they're only closing $5,000 deals, it's going to be hard to pay their salary. So this is a good process where you can actually do free trial and then give white glove service on top of it, inside of it. Now, as you continue to go down on the complexity spectrum, and it really is that scenario I was giving you where people are like, look, we got to get multiple people involved. We have a whole set of requirements. This is going to be an investment for us. At this point, you really need to talk to sales, because these people are not going to do a trial. In fact, in a lot of cases, they don't care about the trial. They can get into a trial, they can get into the product, they can look at how pretty it is, but they're not really gonna understand if it's gonna meet their long-term needs, in which case it almost works against them. It's also more leaders of a company that are exploring these kind of investments, so they don't have time to go kick around some software. They wanna get on a call, they wanna hear the pitch, they wanna understand how you're different from the competitors, and they actually wanna put you through a proper buying process, usually multiple calls, to understand if this is the right fit, and then they're going to spend tens of hundreds of thousands of dollars with you because they're going to invest in you and in your product. And in that case, Talk to Sales actually works for you. There's an important part in this, but before I go into that, let me just pause here for a second and before I really pull all these pieces together. Are you starting to see the power in this? It's not just about picking some random button. It's also not about just putting all 4 of these and just letting them choose because people are going to be confused. It's also not about just choosing the one you want. It's about your business and your ideal customer and how they want to buy and the nature of the product that you're selling. You're starting to see the power in this. Can I just get a yes in the comments below? And also smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. It just loves it when you do that. So do we. We put a lot of love into these videos. Also, if you're in this stage where you're starting to fix your button, you're starting to fix your website, where you're like, TK, how do I actually get more people to discover us and end up on our website in the first place? You should grab a copy of our 5-point SaaS growth strategy guide that teaches you how to build a proper go-to-market strategy and drive more traffic and leads and pipeline to your website. You don't have to go anywhere right now. It's completely free. I'll link to it below. I'll tell you more about it at the end of this episode. But let's talk about some of the pros and cons of these, because that's really what's going to help you make that decision, the final decision on which one you test on your website. Okay, so you now understand that, okay, based on the complexity and the dollar amount, that's what's really going to determine the right button to choose. If you're a low dollar amount, very easy to use tool, start with free and then go into freemium and charge $9 a month. It's totally fine. Get as many people in as possible, let the product do the selling, and get them to convert. If you are actually a little bit in the mid complexity level and people are like, I don't know if this is the right fit, you also know that if people are just let alone in your product, they're not going to be successful, but it's not an expensive enough product where you can put a salesperson on it, then do a free trial and really invest in that product-led experience and do some white glove service, meaning reach out to them when they start a trial, but ask for the credit card up front so you only get quality people coming into your product. And then if you start to get into the real complex stuff and you're selling really expensive pieces of software, first of all, congratulations, that's awesome. But at that point, you want to have a talk to sales because people don't really want to try the product. They just don't. They have a long list of requirements. They're looking at your competitors and they want to talk to you to first understand, hey, are you guys any good or not? So those are the key things that you want to understand. Now, there's some pros and cons to this as well, that in the companies that I've grown, in the founders that I coach, I've learned the hard way. So let's talk about some pros and cons around this. So one of the biggest pros of free is you're going to get a lot of people signing up and into your product. And some of them might convert to paid. So that's a pro. So you'll get lots of conversion because people love trying free stuff. The con of this is they might be shitty / poor quality. And one of the biggest problems that I've seen with having a free tier or a freemium tier is that you may have a paid tier, but that free tier of people never quite upgrade to the paid because you're giving too much away for free. And also, they bogged down your support resources. One of the weirdest things I saw in my prior company, ToutApp, was we had a free tier. That free tier was one of the biggest support burdens for our support team. Our enterprise clients that were paying us tens of thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars, they were much much lower support burden than these people that were on the free plan. So eventually we just got rid of the free plan because we're like, look, if you're not willing to pay $30 a month, we're just not interested in having a customer relationship with you because there are costs to having you as a customer. And sometimes it's not just free compute, it's also support and service. Or the free people who tend to be not good quality, they come into your product, they don't really give it a shot, and they go write a terrible review. And they didn't even really pay for the product, they were not even a customer, and they didn't really use it properly. So there's some cons to the free and the freemium. One of the biggest things to watch out for your freemium is that you're giving away too much. Sometimes I've seen this where founders don't go through a proper pricing strategy exercise. And so when they do the freemium, what ends up happening is people look at the freemium, they're like on the free tier, and they're like, okay, to go pro, it's $30 a month. But they look at pro and they're like, I don't need all those things. I'm good with the freemium. And then they don't upgrade. So sometimes you really have to look at where is the line where people are gonna hit it and then they're gonna have to pay. Meaning if you have a successful customer, the goal of the freemium is to get them to a successful usage of the product, but then to continue using it and to continue to get the full benefits of it, they have to pay. And you have to have that arbitrary line, which may feel like you're like, oh my God, why am I doing that? I said it was free. But like the thing is, the point of the free is to get them hooked on the paid. Like, let's be honest, otherwise you don't have a business. And so you sometimes give too much away on the freemium, and that's something to look at as well. Start free trial, one of the big things that you always have to make a decision on is, do you take the credit card? So in order to start a free trial, do you ask for the credit card up front or do you not? And my opinion always is ask for the credit card up front because you get more quality people. But it's up to you. That's something for you to think about. So if you ask for the credit card up front, your conversion rate is going to be lower, but the people coming through are going to be higher intent. Because they're higher intent, you can actually go in and say, hey, thanks for starting a trial. If you want to get on a 30-minute call, we'll set you up for success. You can spend more time on them. Whereas if you're not asking for a credit card, it's almost like the password sharers signing up for your product and not converting. And so you may not be able to do that and spend time with these people. You might have to leave them alone, or you might not know the difference. That's something to keep an eye out on as well. Also, in terms of free trials, sometimes you also have to think about the length. Sometimes it's a 7-day trial, a 30-day trial. And the big thing to understand is if you're gonna do any sort of a self-service experience where people sign up for the product, you need to make sure your product onboarding gets them to an aha moment. Meaning they have to be able to be set up the product and get to some sort of moment where like, oh my God, this product is amazing. If they can't do that through your product onboarding, all of this is going to fail. And also sometimes if it takes 30 days for them to really see the aha moment, then your trial needs to be that long because a 3-day trial isn't gonna get them to an aha moment. So those are some things to consider. Sometimes people make that mistake when they're doing the free trials. It's not long enough for them to get to an aha moment, or they don't have a credit card, and so it's basically a free offering. It's not really a trial, so you're not getting high quality people anyway. Or even worse, they don't have an onboarding experience. So you basically, people sign up, you throw them into a product they don't know how to use, and you're like, good luck, and they're like, this product sucks. They'll never blame themselves. They'll be like, I don't know how to use this, I'm leaving. So that's something to think about. And the last piece on this is that there's a huge gap between start free trial and talk to sales. The ultimate thing that comes into play here is you gotta be charging enough money to be able to have talk to sales. If you're not charging enough money, meaning if you are not, say, at least a $20,000 or $30,000 a year product, it's going to be really hard for you to scale your sales model and scale your business because the math is never gonna add up. If you think about how much you have to pay a salesperson, how much your commission is gonna be, and how much it takes to close a deal, you're just never gonna get there. Now, there are exceptions to this. There are some companies that really get a one-call close of a 5K deal, and a person can do it all day long. That's possible. It's possible to do, and that's somewhere in between here. But most of the time, if you're getting into sales, then you really need to be making sure that you're charging enough. And in this kind of scenario, I'll meet founders that are like, oh, we're gonna go after this really competitive space. It's very complex software. We're gonna replace our whole systems, or we're gonna be the cheaper option. And a lot of times I'll say like, look, there's a reason your competitors are more expensive. They have to feed their salespeople. And you can be product-led and you can be cheaper, but you won't sell any because people want to talk to sales. There's a nuance there. So you want to be thinking about what is your average deal size and can you afford salespeople if you're going over here? Otherwise, you're better off pushing them to start free trial, ask for a credit card, and do an onboarding for high intent trial users who are showing like, oh my God, this could be a deal, so we're gonna help them along. So it's a little bit of a hybrid process. So now you know which sales model you can double down on. It's not an arbitrary decision. It's really about thinking about the complexity and the level of business transformation for your product times essentially how much it costs. So the more it costs and the more complex it is, you need to talk to sales. If it's very low cost and it's very, very simple, then you can start with free or a freemium. It's totally fine. And if you're somewhere in the middle, then play around with the different levers that exist for the start free trial. And those are the 3 key ways that you can use that button on your website, which I know you're redoing right now. We all are. I get it. You change that button to make sure you're increasing conversions, but more importantly, getting quality people that is going to convert to revenue. And now you know what those 3 sales models are. What you may not know is, all right, TK, I changed the button. I chose the right one. I have a good idea around it, but how do I get more people to discover my company? How do I get more people to show up on our website so more people are clicking that button and we're generating more revenues? Well, in this case, you need a proper go-to-market strategy. To learn more on how to build one, grab a copy of my 5-point SaaS growth strategy guide. It's completely free and it goes across the key principles that I follow and the 250 plus founders that I coach on how to actually revamp your go-to-market strategy and drive more growth for your SaaS business. To grab a copy, just go to getunstoppable.com/strategy. Getunstoppable.com/strategy. It's completely free. It's got our best content in there. It'll give you a proper step-by-step overview of how to actually revamp your go-to-market strategy. Also, if you got value from this video, please smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. It just loves it when you do that. If you have a fellow founder, if you have a fellow team member that will get value from this video, if you're part of a WhatsApp group or a Slack group where you can share this video, please share this video with them. We want to help as many SaaS companies and SaaS founders as possible. That's my mission and my team's mission. Also, I drop an episode every single Sunday with actionable strategies and tactics from the trenches on how to grow your SaaS business faster. So be sure to hit that subscribe button and that bell icon so you'll get notified every single time I drop an episode. And lastly, remember, everyone needs a strategy for their life and their business. When you are with us, yours is going to be unstoppable. I'm TK, and I'll see you in the next episode or inside the 5-point SaaS growth strategy guide. Just follow the link below or just go to getunstoppable.com/strategy. Take care, everybody. And I'll highlight those also. That's wild. One second, let me get that.